Adoption is a journey filled with love and hope, but it can also bring surprises, some heartwarming, others unsettling. For Sarah and Michael, adopting 4-year-old Emily was the start of their dream family. But just 1 month later, Emily whispered something that turned Sarah's world upside down. "Mommy, don't trust Daddy." What she uncovered next was something she could never have imagined. Before we start, don't forget to subscribe to The Stories Unfolded. Join our community for stories that inspire, move, and remind us of life's unexpected twists. Let's dive in. Sarah and Michael were an ordinary couple with extraordinary love to give. After years of trying to conceive, they faced the painful realization that they couldn't have children naturally. While the news was devastating, it didn't crush their dreams of becoming parents. They decided to adopt. The adoption process wasn't easy. There were long interviews, financial evaluations, and emotional ups and downs. But their persistence paid off when they were introduced to Emily, a 4-year-old with big brown eyes, curly hair, and a shy but warm smile. Emily had spent most of her life in foster care, bouncing between homes. From the moment they met, Sarah and Michael knew Emily was special. She was quiet, but observant, always watching the world around her with curiosity. "She's perfect," Sarah whispered to Michael the first time they met her. When Emily moved into their home, everything seemed to fall into place. She loved her new pink bedroom, her stuffed animals, and especially her puppy, Max. Sarah loved watching her color pictures at the kitchen table, while Michael often read her bedtime stories. Life felt like a dream. But dreams have a way of becoming complicated. One evening, as Sarah tucked Emily into bed, the little girl looked up with wide eyes and whispered, "Mommy, don't trust Daddy." Sarah's heart skipped a beat. "Why would you say that, sweetheart?" she asked gently, brushing Emily's hair out of her face. Emily hesitated. "He talks on the phone a lot," she said. "He said he has a plan. I think it's a secret." Sarah didn't know how to react. Was this just a misunderstanding? Or was her daughter sensing something she couldn't see? She reassured Emily, kissed her goodnight, and turned off the lights. But as she lay in bed that night, Emily's words echoed in her mind. What kind of plan was Michael talking about? And why did it seem like something he didn't want her to know? The next day, Sarah found herself watching Michael more closely. He seemed normal, cheerful, attentive, loving. But then she noticed the phone calls. Michael would step out of the room to answer his phone, speaking in hushed tones. Sometimes he'd tell Sarah he needed to run errands and would be gone for hours. "Just work stuff," he explained casually when Sarah asked about it. But something felt off. One evening, while Michael was out, Sarah noticed his phone left on the kitchen counter. She hesitated, battling feelings of guilt and curiosity. Finally, she picked it up and scrolled through his recent calls. There were no names she didn't recognize, just a few frequent calls to someone labeled Tom. Probably work-related, she thought, trying to calm herself. But the uneasy feeling lingered. As the days went on, Emily seemed to grow more wary of Michael. She'd watch him from the corner of her eye whenever he was on the phone, and avoided sitting too close to him during family movie nights. One afternoon, as Sarah was folding laundry, Emily came into the room holding a piece of paper she'd found in Michael's office. "Look, Mommy," she said. Sarah unfolded the crumpled paper. At the top, it said, "Plan for Emily's birthday." Below it were items like order balloons, pick up the cake, and invite guests. Sarah's heart sank. Relief flooded her as she realized what was happening. Michael wasn't hiding something bad. He was planning a surprise birthday party for Emily. She hugged Emily tightly. "Sweetheart, I think Daddy might be planning something very special for you," she said. But Emily wasn't convinced. "Then why is he being so sneaky?" Emily asked, her little brows furrowed. Sarah laughed. "Sometimes surprises are meant to be secrets until the right time. I think you're going to love this one." But Sarah decided to keep playing along. She didn't want to spoil Michael's efforts, especially since it was clear how much thought he was putting into it. Over the next week, Sarah helped Michael in subtle ways without letting on that she knew. She'd suggest taking Emily to the park so Michael could have time to make calls or run errands. She even dropped hints to friends and family about keeping the surprise under wraps. Meanwhile, Emily's curiosity grew. "Why does Daddy keep whispering on the phone?" she asked one morning. "Maybe he's planning something nice," Sarah replied. Emily tilted her head. "But why can't he just tell us?" Sarah smiled. "Sometimes surprises are more fun when you don't know about them right away." Emily seemed unconvinced, but let the matter drop. Finally, the day of the party arrived. Sarah could barely contain her excitement as she helped hang decorations and set up a table filled with Emily's favorite snacks. There was a cake shaped like a princess castle, balloons in every color, and even a small puppet show set up in the corner. Everything was perfect. When Michael brought Emily home from an afternoon at the park, the house was dark. As soon as they stepped inside, the lights flicked on and everyone shouted, "Surprise!" Emily's jaw dropped. Her eyes lit up as she took in the decorations, the cake, and all the smiling faces of her new family and friends. "Daddy planned this?" she asked, looking up at Michael. He smiled and crouched down to her level. "Of course I did, sweetheart. Happy birthday." Emily threw her arms around him, giggling. "I thought you had a scary secret," she admitted. Michael laughed. "The only secret I had was how much I love you and how I wanted to make your birthday extra special." Sarah watched the scene with tears in her eyes. Her heart swelled with gratitude for this little family they had built and the love they shared. Later that night, after the guests had gone and the house was quiet, Sarah tucked Emily into bed. "Did you have a good day, sweetie?" she asked. Emily nodded. "It was the best day ever. And you were right, Mommy. I love surprises." Sarah smiled, brushing a curl from Emily's forehead. "I'm glad. And remember, you can always trust Daddy. He loves you so much." Emily yawned and snuggled under the covers. "I know," she murmured before drifting off to sleep. As Sarah closed the door, she reflected on how far they had come as a family. Life wasn't always predictable, but moments like these made everything worthwhile. This story is a beautiful reminder that love often requires patience and trust. In the end, what seemed like a mystery was actually a heartfelt gesture of love. If you enjoyed this story, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who might need a little inspiration today. Don't forget to subscribe to the Stories Unfolded for more heartwarming tales. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next story.